Hello, this is Gray Hughes. I am putting out another video today on the Abby and Libby case in Delphi, Indiana. It's going to be repetitive for those people out there that actually know the subject that we're going to be talking about. I almost said suspect. Then you'd say, "Oh my God, you know the suspect? Who knows the suspect?" Okay, now see back here. There's people in this image. This video is a still. This is a still from a video that was taken. It's a video, okay? It's taken months, like a month after the incident, okay? I had friends go out there and film around so I could figure out exactly where the suspect image was taken. And this one right here happens to be by a person named Beth, who got almost the exact location that the suspect image was taken from. Now, when we say suspect image, what we're talking about is it's a video that Libby took and law enforcement extracted the only usable frames that it had and showed the public those images of the suspect. Okay? The audio you hear is also from the same video. Okay? But at that point, the camera wasn't filming anything, useful. Okay? And so there aren't two different recordings, okay? Now, here's the thing. The case has picked up momentum again. Dr. Oz had a show, and, a lot of us put out some videos, and people are talking about it again. And the sad part is the same lunacy that we had at the beginning of the case is starting to crop its head up again. And some people say, well, hey, what do you care? I mean, as long as people are talking about it. And no, I don't think so. I think if you talk about the case, you need to have the facts and the correct facts to discuss it, okay? Then you can, do your speculation off of that. But right now, we still have people that don't believe that the suspect image was taken on the southeast side of the bridge. And we also have, there's a Facebook group out there, and the guy that runs it is now doing the same crap again about the suspect actually being photoshopped onto the image. I mean, aren't we past this stuff now? It's embarrassing. Think about this. These same people will serve on a jury at some point. Hopefully not one that if you need a jury to decide your fate, these people aren't going to be on that jury. It's, it's sad to me. All right, so let's go through this. All right, here is a video that Beth took. All right, we had already figured out that this forked tree was on the near the southeast side of the bridge. It's actually not as close to the southeast side as you would think. It looks like it's right behind the suspect, but the actual tree is way back there and the suspect is up here. But because of the angle that the image was taken, things appear a lot closer, and that's one of the reasons you can't see the shadow on the suspect, or you can't determine what the shadow is. And I'll show you some of that in this video as well. Okay, so I'm going to well, how about this? Let's show you the dimensions. This is also information that Beth got for me out on the bridge. All right, so it's 6 foot 8 inches from the inside of this side rail to the inside of this side rail. 9 feet 11 inches from the outside here to the outside on the other side that you can't see because of the angle. These side rails are 4 inches high. Now, part of this, somebody on Facebook months and months ago actually corrected me. I made an error. If you kind of squint your eyes, it looks like the rails are higher, but there's actually, a lot of this is shadow because the sun's over there, and you can actually see it in this image right here. You can kind of see the darken. So the side rail actually starts here and then goes up. All right, so those are 4 inches high, and the railroad ties are 8.5 inches wide. Okay, now the gap between the railroad ties seems to vary between the different railroad ties, but they're pretty close. I didn't get that information, but kind of looks like 2 to 3 inches, perhaps maybe even 4. All right, so here's the video that Beth took a long time ago, and I'm going to forward it to the location I feel like really is very close to the suspect image that shows the forked tree. Okay, so there you go. And I've already positioned the suspect image on the bridge, lined up with the forked tree, the railroad tie, this white area here that happens to be damaged side rail, and it actually lines up pretty well with these branches right here, amazingly. So look at this. I'm going to blink it on and off, and you can just kind of do your own comparison. That's not transparent, everybody. That's actually, look how close that is. I mean, even right here is very close. I think this camera angle is very close. I think it's a little bit lower and slightly more to the left, however. But I mean, look at that. Absolutely the same. Even has the extra branch, forked tree right here. This all lines up. This white portion lines up. I'll do it again. There's the blinking. Okay. So, anyone out there who actually believes that this is not on the southeast side of the bridge, you need to go check yourself into a facility quickly. All right. Now, if you look here, that looks really close too. See that white? You could almost do like tree ring dating. You know how they do tree ring dating? And you line up the lines, and you can continue a progression of years when you're doing archaeological research. You can find petrified wood and then line up the tree rings. In this case, we're just looking at to see if there's a match, and it's pretty interesting. Because look at right here, this sort of this light tie right there, or whatever that is. Maybe that's not a, well, it's probably a railroad tie. But I was just thinking maybe it's a gap, but a gap would be dark, so that's not. Okay, but when you blink this on and off, that stays exactly in that spot. I mean, that's almost a perfect match right there. But see, that's why I think this is shot lower, because I think that this right here, see how there's a dark line and then it jogs up? I think that is right here, the dark line, and it jogs up. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to a different portion here. Basically what this was about was this is on the southeast end of the bridge. I think the suspect is actually past this platform and by about 7 or 8 feet. And when I say past, I mean closer to the camera. So past from the northwest side of the bridge. So from the northwest side of the bridge, he actually passes the platform by about 7 or 8 feet. Okay, and I've seen some comments out there that are like, well, how come it keeps changing? Well, because I keep analyzing it and, you know, looking at it, and I'm getting it more narrowed down. I mean, it's hard to tell because of the angle. All the railroad ties are very close to each other, and the shadowing by the suspect or anybody else walking, you can't even really tell what's a shadow, and I'll show you that here in a minute. All right, so here we have a person named Bonnie Rame, who went out to the bridge too with Beth. She's in some of these Facebook groups. Now this is her walking in that exact area. Okay, we were trying to line it up. Now here's the white area, the platform, and the forked tree. Now I slowly zoom in here so it's a little bit clearer. But look at her shadow. See how you can see her shadow right there? Well, when you pause it, how do you know what's a shadow or not? See, that could just be another railroad tie, right? It's real narrow. It's really narrow. You can't even really tell. Like if she's walking, let's say, right there, you just can barely see it, especially if she's on a gap. Like right there, you can't tell it's there at all. Okay. Now keep in mind, this is what the original looks like. So what law enforcement's had to do is zoom in, and you do get some features, like you can see on her, you can see a face. She doesn't have a hat on or anything. Now, what I did was I took a copy of her, and I'm going to show you. Notice how the white object isn't in the right orientation. So if we were to go back, the white object is just to the right of his foot, or his calf, basically. And what we have here is that Bonnie's too close to the side rail. So basically, she's over here. So you see the white disruption on the side rail to her left. Okay. So right there. So I'm going to move Bonnie with a copy of her over to where I think the suspect was, which would be about right here. And actually, I think, he's probably about like this. Yeah, I think he's on this this one right here, but the camera angle is lower. All right, so that's why I think if I was to go back here, I think he's on this one right here with the little jog in it, and he looks closer to it vertically because the camera is lower. Right. So this is where I think he is. Right there. Okay, but move the camera down. The reason I think the camera is lower, one of the reasons is, you see how there is some, I don't know if you call it, or some dried up foliage there, like hay almost. But you can see a little bit in this image here. And the only way you would be able to see that is if you had the camera lower, then some of this would start popping up into it. Okay? Now, this whole thing about photoshopping somebody on the bridge, now, me moving this over right here, that would make you go, wow, see, they could do that. But why in the hell would they do that? It's just ridiculous. Okay? Listen, there's family members out there that have seen the video. Okay, now, are you calling them all liars, every one of them? Because they've seen the video, they know exactly where this is on the bridge, and have actually seen the suspect walking in the limited frames that they've been able to look at. All right, now, let's go look at some of the shadowing part again. So I have Bonnie walking even further. Now look, now you can start seeing the shadows. Right? It runs out right here. So you can see the shadows, but if you kept going back, let me get more of this. So look at that. I mean, way back there. And this isn't even, you can't see it. You cannot make out a shadow if you just paused and took a still frame. You wouldn't be able to say, oh, that's a shadow for sure. Like right there. Where's the shadow? You can see it moving when she's moving. But even at any point, if you just hit pause, like right there, you wouldn't be able to say, oh, that's a shadow right there, because that could just be a gap between the railroad ties. And even right there, you cannot tell. You cannot tell. So, heck, even when she's like right up in here, can you really tell that that's a shadow? See, it's the angle that's creating the confusion for people out there. All right? Now, I don't mean to, have this video run on for so long, but I want to show you what I do and how I work with this information, okay? There is zero doubt at all that the suspect is on the southeast end of the bridge. The suspect was not photoshopped into the image, and we know this because there's really no good reason for it, and the family members have actually seen the video. Okay, now if you think they're all part of some elaborate cover-up, then you can go on believing that crap, okay? But now that the case is active again, can you at least be responsible and put out factual information? I just am so disappointed that we're going back to the same garbage again. Pretty soon we're going to have people rappelling again from the bottom of the bridge, the puppy jumping out of the jacket, the 15 cars under the bridge, the suspect behind every damn tree. This is going to be a joke, okay? Don't do it. Now, if you're somebody new that's just starting this, just go watch my videos. Maybe even start with Flow 3 and the 2 recent ones that I just did. And then go watch all my debunking videos so that you know not to fall for the garbage that you're going to be hearing. All right? Okay, so until next time, I will talk to you later.